Welcome into Bills Tonight Digital. Maddy, Glab here with your recap of everything that happened in today's game. The Buffalo Bills lose to the Kansas City Chiefs 26-17. Bills Tonight Digital is brought to you by Hunt Real Estate, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills. And there were signs of hope at some points of this game. The Bills kept it within arm's length for most of the game, but couldn't get it done at the end of the day, only putting up around 200 yards of total offense, giving up 466 yards to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd like to bring in one of our Bills legends, Eric Wood, one of our former offensive linemen. Eric, this game was a tough one to watch. There were signs of hope for some points in this game. I mean, some touchdowns from the Bills, some good defensive plays from the defense, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. So what can you point to as reasons why the Bills lost this one?
Well, this game was dominated by Kansas City. And when you have 38 minutes of time of possession, you are imposing your will on a defense. You're controlling the football. And then the Bills, every possession they got, especially in the second half, just seemed so paramount because each Chiefs drive was going on so long. Really impressed with what the Chiefs were able to do offensively. Their run game was outstanding. 46 rushing attempts, the most by an Andy Reid team that he's ever coached. So that shows you what he felt about what he could do on the ground game tonight. And in a rainy game in Orchard Park, the run game was going to be paramount. Bills running backs, Devin Singletary averages 3.2 yards a carry. Zach Moss averages 2 yards a carry. Kansas City throughout the night, they rush it 46 times, 5.3 yards a carry. And that ultimately is the story of the game. Not really huge plays through the air for either squad, but the ground game of the Chiefs really dominant in this one.
Yeah, it was a tough one to watch from the ground game perspective. Wish the Bills could have stopped them a little bit more there on the run. Of course, they wanted to keep things in front of them and not let Patrick Mahomes air it out like he's bound to do and has done before against different teams. Let's send it over to the quarterback, Josh Allen, and hear what he had to say about tonight's loss.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, just a night where it seemed to be hard to find a rhythm offensively. And that's a sub 20-point performance for the second time in as many weeks. You describe what happened?
Yeah, we weren't good enough. I was not good enough. I got to do a better job. It's plain and simple. I didn't play very good tonight. I know that. I understand that. This team can't afford to have me play poorly. Early on, just not being as accurate with the ball as I should have been. Making the right reads, making the right throws. And we turned it on a little too late there, obviously. But yeah, 16 and 17 points is not going to cut it in this league, but it didn't matter who we played tonight. If that's who we play, or if that's how we play, we're going to struggle to win games. So it is what it is right now. We'll learn from this. I'm obviously super frustrated with myself and how I performed tonight, and I can't do that to this team. So, I got to be better. I will be better.
Is it something that was schematic in terms of the problem, or was it just execution?
It was more execution, and make no mistakes. We played a really good team. The defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. But we definitely had our opportunities, and we got to be better with it. And again, that's on me. I take that very personally. So again, this is going to be a good week to kind of sit back and learn some things from the tape. Is cruddy the tape's going to look. Learning from this is going to help us move forward.
Thank you.
Hey Josh, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about why the run game seems to have been struggling really all season. You haven't been able to establish it. Can you pinpoint some things that are going wrong there?
Again, I could do better with checks and calls, and up front, maybe sustaining blocks a little longer and just finding the hole. And I can do better with that as far as, getting us into the right call. And, it's as simple as that. And, something that we definitely have to get going. We can't keep, doing that. And, if I got to run more, I'll run more. If not, we'll give it to our running backs and let them do the job. But that's definitely an area we got to work on. And it's something that we have to be better at.
And if I could ask you, just how frustrating was it in the second half? You had the ball less than 7 minutes. I mean, that's, they're playing good on offense, but for you, how frustrating was it to not be able to get the ball?
Yeah, I mean, that's partly on us. We've got to sustain drives. We got to get first downs. We got to put ourselves in better third and manageable situations. And we didn't do enough of that tonight. And, scoring late and giving ourselves a chance there. But again, it was too late, and we got to find a way to turn it on sooner and make some more plays earlier.
Thanks.
Hey, Josh, and you're one of the team leaders, of course. And when you see the situation where obviously the frustration on defense built up, and uncharacteristic it seemed for guys like Trey White and Jordan Poyer to have those kinds of penalties that Sean would obviously frown upon and does constantly preach about. What were your thoughts, not necessarily about the two of them, but just the overall loss of composure and a team that's on a national stage for the second time? Did that maybe, having that a loss in two national stage games just get the better of everybody psychologically?
No, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think if we come out on offense and we start how we're supposed to start, and I hit the throws I'm supposed to hit, it's a completely different game and kind of calms everybody down. But it doesn't matter whether we're playing on Sunday or Monday night or Monday evening, whatever you want to call it. We got to go out there and we got to execute. We got to be smarter. Obviously, like you said, it's very uncharacteristic of those two guys. But again, I as the quarterback can do more, with positioning ourselves to be in a better situation throughout the game. So again, like I said, a lot to learn from here. And as bad as I feel right now, I'm super excited to go out and attack this week and go look forward to next Sunday already.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, the message from you and from a bunch of your teammates after last week's loss was it's just one game. There's no reason to panic. We knew we weren't going to go 16-0. We just have to move on. Now it's another loss. It's mistakes compounding. What is the mood now after a second consecutive loss?
Again, we're not going to panic. We're going to stay solid in our locker room and, be a family. We're 4-2. We understand that we got to, stay ahead of the curve and get things rolling. And, it's no panic, but there is a sense of urgency in this locker room that we have to be better, myself included, leading that charge. So, again, there's things throughout the game that I need to do better for this team to be in a better situation throughout the game. I think that's going to help all facets. So we'll learn from it, like I said. And, like I said, this is a game that obviously it sucks, looking back at the stats and the score sheet and whatever, but a lot of things to learn from.
Is this one of those games that you go back and you watch, like you said, even though the tape is going to be cruddy, or is it better to just kind of like say, hey, it happened. We need to move on. We can't dwell on the bad stuff.
No, as an offense, we got to watch it. There's little things that we're missing that we can't miss. And, little things turn into big things. So we got to stay on top of it. And again, like I said, starting off that first drive, I'm, more accurate with the ball and, allowing ourselves to kind of get into a rhythm. And I didn't do Coach Dable, any justice by what he was calling. And, I got to go out there and execute the call that was called. It's as simple as that.
Thank you, Josh.
The Quarterback Press Conference is presented by Energy Mark, the official energy supplier to the Buffalo Bills.
Eric, the last two games, this offense has looked quite different. 17 points they put up tonight. Before week 5, they were averaging around 30 points per game, and we see Josh Allen complete 51.9% of his passes today for 122 passing yards, another interception from him. And he said the little things turn into the big things, and that's why we need to rewatch this film and figure out what's happening and what's going wrong. So what was he talking about when he said the little things, and how can they fix those little things going into next week against the Jets?
Well, when you talk about the little things turning into the big things, the Bills weren't able to make a lot of big plays the last 2 weeks. And when you think about what are the little things, it's sustaining your block long enough, it's making the catch, it's making an accurate throw. It's all those little things that created the big plays through the first 4 games, and they're just not getting those right now. If teams are going to defend for the big play, if they're going to say, either we're going to play somewhat of a 2-shell like we were talking about last week on the show, or this week, they brought a lot of pressure, very physical at cornerback with our receivers, which led to some holding, illegal contact, illegal hands to the face twice outside got called, pass interference. All those got called on their DBs, but they were basically saying, we're going to come after the quarterback. Hopefully he either makes a bad decision or throws an inaccurate ball. And if we do get called for a penalty, at least it's not going to be a backbreaker. And just the one took him down into the tight red zone on the one pass interference on the Diggs route. But the Bills are going to have to find answers. And part of those answers is getting the run game going. And I still think for this Bills team, the way they're built with their personnel, you continue to air it out. You stick to 10 personnel, 11 personnel, but when you do run the football, you've got to get over the 4 yards of carry mark, which they were doing a lot of last year, which helps the offense stay on schedule. Too many negative rushing plays right now, too many 1 and 2 yard gains for you to really rely on the run game at all.
Yeah, Devin Singletary led rookie running backs last year, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Tonight he had 10 attempts for 32 rushing yards. It was good to see Zach Moss on the field, but you're right, they need to be more effective for the run because that's going to open up passing lanes. You can't just be one-sided, a one-trick pony in today's NFL. You have to be able to balance an offensive attack. Well, let's look at how this all came together with some Bills highlights against the Chiefs. Start off, it was a 48-yard field goal from Tyler Bass, a career long from him. Then in the first quarter, 1st and 10 from the 11 Mahomes, and 11-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. 1st and goal, Allen. He would find his best friend Stephon Diggs in the end zone for a sneaky touchdown catch from Diggs. It was a 4-yarder, 10-7 Bills at this point. Mahomes here finding Travis Kelce, the tight end, again for a touchdown. Bucker missed the extra point, though. It was 13-10 Chiefs. Here we go in the third quarter. It's Darrell Williams. He runs it in for a touchdown. Here's Harrison Butker hitting a 37-yard field goal, 23-10 Chiefs. And Josh Allen trying to get something going for his offense here. He finds Cole Beasley for an 8-yard touchdown, 23-17 Chiefs. But the Chiefs kick a 30-yard field goal to seal the deal. It was 26-17 Chiefs. Let's hear from head coach Sean McDermott after the game.
Expected to be after a loss. That's a good football team. Give the Chiefs credit. I don't think when you look at our quality of play, I thought there were moments where we played up to our standard, and there were certainly enough moments where we didn't. And that's what we have to be truthful with when we look at the film. We didn't get off to a good start offensively. 3 and out, missed a couple there. I think we had a drop and some missed throws. So we got to get off to a better start. That's 2 weeks in a row. And so that I think affected our rhythm offensively, I would say, in the first half. Listen, this is an explosive offense we went against. So you got to pick your poison a little bit. And I know the numbers statistically aren't good, when we look at our defense against our offense, but you got to pick your poison here in terms of how you want to go about attacking them there.
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Coach. Just with respect to the run D, I know getting off blocks was something some of your players talked about doing a better job of, with each successive week. I know you got to check the film to get a handle on that, but just in terms of making plays at the line of scrimmage, not letting them get to the second level, Edwards-Helaire in particular, even after initial contact. Did you kind of sense that it just seemed tough to get him down on initial contact there tonight?
Yeah, he's got good contact balance. He's a good back. We knew he was a good back. Coming out in the draft, we did our due diligence on him. And, look, at the end of the day, I thought we were in the game towards the end there, and we get one stop on defense where he got out and scrambled on 2 separate occasions. We got to do a better job there, and we get a chance to go down and maybe it's a different game against a good football team. The bigger picture is we've got some things that we really have to continue to work to get corrected, and fundamentals, playing more physical at the line of scrimmage is a must.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, late in the game there, you guys kicked the extra point on the Cole Beasley touchdown. Did you think at all about maybe going for two in that situation?
Well, we always talk about, 1 versus 2 in those situations, in all situations, to be honest with you. So those are discussions that happen all the time.
Do you feel like, had you maybe made that move, would it change the game at all? To go for two, if you would have made it?
No, I mean, listen, you can sit here and play crystal ball, and I'm not going to do that. We did what we did, and we were in the game, and we felt like it was the right decision at that time.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, it just seems, of course, very uncharacteristic for a team of yours to have what we saw as the frustration was building up, it seemed, on defense with Tre'Davious and Jordan, two leader and guys who seem to be fully bought into your concept of not having those kinds of penalties and that lack of discipline. What's your thought about that, and how do you intend to address that?
Yeah, Vic, to be honest with you, I had a hard time seeing Tre'Davious. I know it was on their sideline, so I had a hard time with players in between the field and them over there, so I couldn't get a good line of vision on Tre'Davious. On Jordan's. There's no room for that. Well out of bounds. That's not how we play. That's not what we teach. We're more disciplined than that, and so we got to be better than that.
And in terms of the run defense, and you mentioned more physical at line, you're a coach who obviously you coach everything, but the defense, and you mentioned about not having a lot of sleep after what happened in the last Tuesday night game. What's your overall sense of kind of where your defense is after a couple of games like this?
Well, Vic, again, I think you got to look at this is an explosive offense, right? Mainly through the air. So you got to pick your poison here. What you're willing to try and what you're trying to take away, and then on the other end, you're going to give a little bit, right? And so I'm not saying that we liked what we gave up in the run game. That said, towards the end of the game, we were in the game, as opposed to some people that are getting blown out because the ball is flying over their head in the pass game with Mahomes and Hill and 17 and whatnot, and Kelsey. So you got to pick your spots against an explosive offense, and obviously we weren't good enough in the run game. Wish we were better, and that's where fundamentals come in, and so it's a good offense. I thought we were in good shape here on that 3rd and 12, and then the quarterback breaks contain, and we didn't play smart in that situation, and we got to do a better job of playing better team defense in that situation. We're off the field, 3rd and 12. You like our chances, and it's 23, I think 17 at that point. So there's a certain way you got to play against this offense, and so we live and learn. This is the first time we've gone up against them, against this quarterback, against this offense, and so we watch the film, we learn from it, and then we correct the things we need to get corrected, and that's more of what I'm concerned about, Vic, is there's some boulders, that we got to get corrected here.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I guess kind of going off that, is it any more of a concern that these past 2 losses have come against two of, probably the best teams, if not the best teams in the conference?
Well, we want to be, this is where we want to be in terms of in these type of games against good teams. Call them big games if you want. I think just the competition out there is elite. This is high standard, high quality football, good players, good systems. That's where we want to be, and we've come up short in these 2 games, and so we go back to the drawing board and continue to work hard to continue to get to know our team and examine where we're not where we need to be, or we're not executing the way we need to execute, or we're not fundamentally where we need to be fundamentally. And that's what we have to do, is to continue to develop our football team so we're playing well at critical points in the season here.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Yes, good evening, Sean, Coach McDermott, George Radney, Challenger Community News. Was there any consideration to putting 9 in the box, just trying to shut down that run, just going with an all-out gamble to try and shut them down and force Mahomes to win it with his arm, maybe with the wet football, things may have, who knows, maybe take your chances through the air?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about a lot of that, sir. You know, at the end of the day, people have tried to stop putting 9 in the box against this team. It hasn't really worked out, to be honest with you. You watch the film, you see those teams that have tried to do that, and it's 40 points. I thought we had a chance to win the game close in the fourth quarter, which is what you want going against that type of offense, and obviously we didn't get it done.
Great. Any concerns? Well, you have the Jets next week, but you have to work on that run defense of stopping that running game.
Yeah, we have a lot to work on. That would be one of them for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Coach, this is Jason Wolf with the Buffalo News. Appreciate your time.
Sure.
2 quick questions for you. First, what went into the decision to make Trent Murphy and Harrison Phillips inactive today?
Yeah, just, those 2 are good players. Just want to take a look at some other guys who have practiced well and just see if we could change things up a little bit. Those guys, we may come right back to those guys next week. We'll see what the week holds here for us.
They were healthy, though, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and also 4-2, you're still in first place in the AFC East. Your next 2 games are against division rivals. Do you need to impress that upon your players, or how do you get the guys to just sort of reset at this point and look at the goals that are still right in front of you?
Yeah, that's good perspective. We always try right after the game isn't always the best time for perspective, especially, after, last week and now this week. 2 good opponents, I know, but the minute losing gets easy is that's not a good deal. We take it hard. There's no moral victories, and we've got to really look at our football team and say and be truthful with ourselves and say, what do we have to get corrected, and have those conversations. And then if we do that, our team will move forward as we continue to grow through the season, and we'll peak at the right time. At this point, that remains to be seen.
Sean McDermott's press conference is presented by Hunt, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills.
Eric, Sean said several times you had to pick your poison on that one, and I think it was right to make them run the ball and keep everything in front of you. It wasn't like there were a lot of big plays that the Bills defense had to defend, but at the end of the day, you wish there was maybe another turnover. The offense got the ball a couple more times, and maybe it would have been a Bills win, because it was within arm's reach for a lot of that game, a touchdown away, a field goal away at some points throughout the game. But when you look at how this game played out and what's ahead for the Buffalo Bills, especially on defense, what has to get corrected heading into next week? Do you start up front with the defensive line?
Yeah, I think it's pretty well known at this point the defensive line has got to perform better. There's a lot of moving parts up there. They activated new guys this week. It is an issue, and they're trying to address it. Last week, it was addressed that the pass rush needed to be better, and the 4-man pass rush at that. And moving forward, looking back at this game, giving up so many yards on the ground was an issue, period. It's an issue. Sean McDermott brought up a good point that you have a 6-point game at the end, and you have them at a 3rd and 12. The defending Super Bowl champions, a lot of people think this is the best team in the league. So was it the wrong approach? If you get a couple stops, if you force a turnover or 2, no. Patrick Mahomes was able to make great plays on 3rd down and extend drives that ultimately led to the Bills' defeat today. This is a team in the Buffalo Bills that can get back on track next week against the Jets. The Jets are an 0-16. They are struggling. Normally, you'd say this might be a trap game for the Buffalo Bills heading to New York against a team that's 0-6, but coming off of 2 losses, the intensity that practice will have this week, the amount of time and preparation they'll put into making these corrections. I sure like their chances next week, and you get to 5-2 and you stay in first place in the AFC East. That's not a bad position to be in. You just need to continue to get better throughout this entire season.
Yeah, an important game against a division rival coming up next week. But let's talk about offense before we wrap this thing up. I mean, Josh was pressured quite a bit this game. Last game, he really wasn't pressured at all. So you got kind of two different looks at how he reacted to no pressure versus pressure. He was pressured, I would say, a decent amount in some of these games in weeks 1 through 4 and did a good job of still finding answers on the field. But those corners were really guarding our wide receivers today. So offensively, what do the Bills need to look at in order to correct it for this Jets game coming up?
Yeah, when you look at how they were against the pressure tonight, it's tough in a game when you're in 3rd and longs and 2nd and longs and you're trying to complete balls down the field versus pressure in the rain. That's a tough situation. Now, they were able to draw some penalties down the field, but they weren't able to make them pay. They weren't able to get those huge explosive plays that we saw through 4 weeks. For the Buffalo Bills, offensively, if they were able to connect on some balls early, if they were able to put some pressure on the Chiefs, that would have greatly benefited them, and that's an obvious statement. But when you only have 22 minutes of possession, 7 in the second half, it becomes paramount to capitalize on all your possessions. And they had a 3-and-out in the second half, and ultimately that was their demise. And so just get back to what you were doing, what you were executing. I think you stay in 10 and 11 personnel, which they did through the first 4 weeks of the season, and these last 2 weeks as well. Continue to air it out. Continue to ride the back of your third-year quarterback. And if you can get the run game going at an efficient rate, then Brian Daboll can continue to be creative in his play calling, and I think you'll see the results come back that we were so used to seeing through 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, if Josh could have connected on a couple more of those early deep balls, maybe it would have been a totally different game. So we'll see how they correct it. Maybe if they get the run game involved a little bit more against the Jets coming up. Eric, thank you for the time. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. And if you guys want more analysis, more breakdown, you can head to MSG at 11:30 for Bills tonight. We will see you there.